In the spirit of keeping today moving, we're going to go ahead and get started with the Indiana State session. We've been joined by head coach Josh Schertz. Coach, congratulations on the contract extension.
Thank you.
Always good when great things happen to good people.
Well,
We'll go ahead and get started. Coach.
Well, I know everybody obviously came to hear me, so no players up here is fine. I'm sure everybody's super thrilled about that. Really excited about our group. Certainly a lot of newcomers. We've got 8 new scholarship players, so it's a 2/3 brand new team. It's kind of a weird group. We lost our top 3 scorers from last year, and then bring back 4 through 7. When you look at Robbie and Julian, Xavier and Jason, and then we got Mason Miller back as well, who didn't play as much, and then 8 new guys. So they've been a great group to work with to this point. I think they've come in and really embraced trying to work with intent, really be detailed, and we talk a lot about championship teams have championship habits. They've really been good here in the preseason about being locked in and focused. I think we have a group that coming off last year, 23 wins, but we lost, I think, 9 games by 5 points or less. I think we lost 4 games by 1 point. And so I think everybody, that's returning feels like we left a lot on the table and had chances certainly to be, to win a championship and let those go. And I think so we got a group that had experienced a lot of pain, also experienced a lot of success. And that's a great combination for growth. So excited about this team this season, and looking forward to getting it started.
Again, as we've done in the previous sessions, we'll wait to get a microphone to you to ask your question. So for the benefit of our friends on Zoom, we'll start here in St. Louis.
And Josh, obviously going into year 3, I guess can you just talk a little bit about what you feel you learned from year 1 to year 2 and now year 2 to year 3, just about yourself and coaching in general?
Yeah, I mean, I think this league is really challenging. Came in and big reason why I took this job was that I wanted to challenge myself as a coach. I was at a job where I had one of the best jobs in the country. We had all, fair advantages from budget and resources and facilities, and, it was set to be successful. Obviously they've done pretty well without me the last 2 years, and a lot of our players left. So, I think coming in, that's why I did this, was to really grow and challenge myself as a coach. And it's been everything I expected. Incredible coaches. It's a basketball league. I think, the thing you learn is in this league, it really comes down to your ability to perform under pressure to win close games. That's what separates the champions from the teams that are in the mix to the middle of the pack and down. You could take our team, but certainly look at every team in that league and how many close games they either had to win or lose to be in the situations they were in. Valpo last year to me was an incredible example of that. How many, I think, close games they dropped and finished whatever 9th and could have finished top 2 or 3. So the margins are very small, and you got to be really good under pressure. You got to be really good down the stretch of games. And at this level, you're not going to win on talent. The talent margins are not that big. You're not going to win on coaching. You're not going to outcoach anybody. You really win on the intangibles, your culture, your togetherness. Those things, as cliche as they sound, that's what ultimately the championship teams have over the teams that come up short.
Josh, Kevin Leem with Valley TV. You used this term a lot last year, corporate knowledge. You've lost 3 starters, so where are you at in the corporate knowledge meter with this team?
Yeah, not as good as we were last year. Somebody asked about how we just did an interview. The difference in year 1 to year 2 for us, going from 11 wins to 23, and the 2 things were obviously the corporate knowledge piece and the talent, right? Like Cooper Neese, Cam Henry, Kalik Stevens were all guys that averaged double digits for us my first year. We lose 20 games. They all graduate. They all could have said, hey, I'm going to go somewhere else and do my grad year and they all came back to Indiana State. And we returned 7 of our top 8 scorers from last year. And then we were able to add guys like Cavassier and Robbie Avila and some of those pieces, Cade McKnight, to our group, and and obviously made a big jump. But that was why. That's going to be a challenge. I don't think we use it as a crutch, but Robbie, Julian, Xavier, Jason, Mason. I do think from an internal leadership standpoint, we have guys in Robbie and Xavier, Jew, that really live and breathe our culture, and it's not the same as the culture everywhere. And so having those guys in the locker room as leaders, our player leadership, even though we don't have quote unquote as many returners, is the best in my 3 years here, and is much more in line with what we had with our best teams at LMU, where you got guys in that locker room. We talk a lot about our culture, how you act, how you interact, how you respond, right? And the way these guys act, the way they interact with each other, the way they respond to things has been terrific. They've done a great job of helping breathe life, breathe confidence in the guys, those 8 newcomers, and get them up to speed. And I think it's hopefully expedited their learning curve. And, we'll see here in November, but certainly I think the whole, get old, stay old cliche, it's really about getting old together, right? There's a value in shared experiences, and you got to go through those. So we'll see. We'll try to expedite it, but I like our team a lot.
Hey, Coach. You guys got picked 4th in the preseason poll. Some could say it's low. Some could say it's higher than most years for Indiana State, right? Recent years, maybe last 10 years, I'll have to go back and look at that a little bit. But what can you tell me about some of the expectations for the team? And I guess the second part would be Ryan Conwell didn't get any recognition. What do you think about that?
In terms of where we're picked, outside expectations are, I think, whatever they are, I don't know, where that rates in terms of where we were picked. I know it's probably better than we were my first year here. And so, when you're picked, to me, that goes back to what we talk about, with a growth mindset. Like, it doesn't really matter what the outside expectations are. If you're focused on coming in every single day and trying to, put your signature in your work and get better that day, whether you're like us and you're picked 4th and you're kind of one of those teams that maybe is on the climb to try to compete for a championship, or you're, a team that's just starting their journey like a Valpo or Evansville, or you're, a Drake or a Bradley, or Northern Iowa, where you've been here and been in the mix every single year. The challenge for all of us is to become the best versions of ourselves. And when you lock into that day-to-day process, I think the outside expectations are not as relevant. And the great thing with basketball is it's great for fans. I think it's great talking points. But at the end of the day, you got to earn it, in between the lines. Like, whatever's on paper doesn't matter. You're good if you play good, right? Everything else is kind of irrelevant. Whatever, this person, that person, you're good if you play good. And in this league, you got to earn it in between those 4 lines. There's no other pathway to do it. So I think we're excited for that challenge and looking forward to competing against the great teams that are in this league.
And then Xavier, Julian made 2nd team. Robbie made 2nd team. Swope was on 3rd team. You guys got picked 4th in the Valley. What can you say about maybe some reaction to what you saw from that and what that means about your group and your team going into the year?
I would say our guys really don't look too much into stuff like that. Because we know us at the end of the day, and as long as we come in and willing to work and listen to what coach is applying to us, I feel like all of that really doesn't mean nothing as long as we're going out and executing what has to be done.
Our next 2 questions will come from Zoom. We have been joined, obviously, by the Indiana State student athletes, Xavier Bledson, Julian, 2nd team, preseason all-conference, Julian Larry, and Robbie Avila. Let's go to Zoom.
Hey, Coach. Just talking about that extension, just real briefly, talk about, that confidence that, that gives you now. You obviously came to Indiana State, like you said, accepting the challenge, wanting to, succeed and really build a program here. And here you are in year 3 already, getting that support from, Sherrard and the rest of Indiana State. That's got to be a really special feeling heading into this season.
Yeah, of course. It's always good. You want to, bring some value to the organization you work for, and you try your best to do that. And when you're when your employers, the people you work for, show appreciation, I think you're always grateful. I think I probably, certainly, incredibly appreciative of the work environment. We talked about this before. If I was going to leave LMU, a place that I loved, it was going to be. I told Sherrod this, for a work environment that was very similar to the one I was in, where I was empowered and supported every day. And then it was going to be at a place where I felt I was going to really be stretched as a coach. And Indiana State has provided both those things, and I'm forever indebted. I also, contract extensions are, really, they're not based on what you did. They're based on what they project you to do, right? So it's really about, what they expect us to do moving forward. So I'm appreciative of it, but I also know that their investment in me and in the program is based on what they expect us to do here moving forward. And so we're excited. We're excited to build something special. We're 2 years in. Cultures, take time. And Coach Hannes, right down the hall from me, has been the best example of that. So going to year 3, we like where we are, and look forward to the years to come here to building something hopefully special at Indiana State.
Do you have another
Good
question?
morning, Coach. John Titel from hoopshd.com. You talked about the close losses. When you lose your conference tournament game by a point and your CBI game by a point in overtime, are you the kind of guy who rewatches the video a dozen times to try to figure out the championship habits that are needed? Or do you lock yourself in a room and just think? Or do you flush it and move on to the next season, or something else?
Usually all that. No, I lock myself in a room and just stare at the mirror. No, I think you always start internally, where we can get better. The Bradley loss by 1 point, the Belmont loss right before that by 1 point, the Drake loss where we're up and they tipped the ball out and they hit a buzzer beater with DJ Wilkins. I mean, you could go through, Southern Indiana step back through. I mean, there's game after game after game where we had opportunities to close and we couldn't. And, there's a variety of reasons for that. I always ask a team, if you had a situation to be 1 possession left, up 1 on defense, or 1 possession left, down 1, but on offense, what would you choose? And every good team would choose defense, and to be up 1 and get a stop to win. And we had 5 of those situations last year. We didn't come through, and and that's like those games, the 2 games at Missouri State. We had a lot of opportunities left on the table. So I think you look at it and how can we be better, and it starts with me. Always, what can I do to help our guys? How can I be better in those situations? And we're certainly, from a practice standpoint, try to, accommodate that, do some things different to give our guys more, situational work. We're gonna, again, it's a lot of times in those games, it's not somebody wins it, it's who doesn't lose it. And, you got to kind of eliminate losing. And if you look at those games, Bradley, an offensive rebound there, winds up fouling. Same thing in the CBI. We give up an offensive rebound and foul, lose those games by 1. We fouled, with 2 seconds left at Belmont, lose that game by 1. So you could go through each game, and a lot of them, we shot ourselves in the foot, brought losing in the equation. And ultimately, I got to do a better job of making sure our guys execute and eliminate losing down those stretches, and we got to put them in enough situations so when those situations arise, they're ready to execute and finish those games off, because you're playing against great competition. It's never easy.
We have 3 minutes left in this session.
I'll start with Robbie, and then I'll go to Julian. Robbie, you're back in the building where you guys had that run, almost got to the championship game. It was last March. Feels pretty recent to me. Might feel recent to you. What can you say about being back here and just your initial thoughts being in this building?
I would just say it's good to be back here. Obviously another season ahead of us. Last year, like I think we all mentioned, we let those one off on the table, and just to have this opportunity again to come back this year with a new team, new kind of things. It's exciting. We're looking forward to this season. We're all working hard every single day, and just to be able to show you guys what we got this year is something big for us.
Does it bring back bad memories at all? Does it bring like a bit of an itch, or like I'm back here and I want to?
Nah, last year was last year. We lived through those moments last year. It's a new season, new team. And so it's time to look ahead.
And then Julian, you've been with Shirts now for 3 years. The program's obviously been climbing the last couple of years. What can you say about just being here and being in a spot now where you come in? You guys are picked 4th, but you're in a spot now where it's higher than the last couple of years. And can really compete for a championship like you did last year, but now you're coming in preseason and there's like maybe a little bit more belief there?
I would just say, the climb, is just the work that we've put in every day. And I mean, just, the opportunity, to come in new year with new guys and, kind of us leading now and, teaching the new guys the ropes, but just the opportunity to come in and, just have that climb.
This will be the last question.
Okay, it's kind of off the kilter, but I was asking a couple of coaches about international recruiting. So, Coach Schertz, what can you tell me about getting Augustinus, your final scholarship player on your team, and walking through a little bit of what that looked like, finding him, and then getting him over here and playing on your team?
Obviously, Augustinus, somebody, we had a scholarship pop open. We had a kid we signed early that, got out of his letter of intent in April, so we were a little behind in terms of, recruiting. We weren't going to just waste a scholarship. We really liked our team with 12. We were going to wait and see if we got the right fit. Augustinus was somebody that, he played in the U20s for Lithuania, had some friends over there that watched him that had called us, and it was a pretty quick process. He's coming into a difficult situation in terms of, he wasn't here in June and July, so while these guys were practicing and we were putting the foundation of how we're going to play in, he didn't get that. So he's starting kind of against it, but great kid, hard worker, a 6'8" guard that has played, second division pro in Lithuania, averaged almost 12 a game last year for them, and we think has a chance to be a good player in time. Of course, the biggest thing for him is going to be how quickly he can acclimate to what we're doing and how we play, and that's a challenge for every player, but particularly when you're starting off 2 months behind. But certainly plenty of time for him to catch up and get to work here. And he's a great kid, great worker, and good cultural fit and system fit.
Sycamores, thank you very much.
Thank